Well, good evening and welcome to the Arbor Hills Nature Preserve in Plano, Texas. Tonight's exercise is the first field test of the NITECORE EDC35. I want to thank NITECORE for sending me this light and making the review possible. If you have not already done so, I'd recommend at least checking out the introductory chapter for the EDC33. I've heard the 35 described as the big brother to the 33, and there's a lot to be said for that description. So features, functionality, UI, everything carries over. That includes charging, the lockout switch with a half or full lockout, probably one of my favorite features of these series. You'll see that the knurling, pretty much the same. There we have a side by side. Of course, the emitter array is different. Really, it's going to come down to slightly larger, heavier form factor, and does the output give you adequate compensation for that relative to the 33? Now, tonight we're going to focus almost exclusively on the 35. I'm not going to go over the feature UI because that's already been done for the 33, and I want to save time. I know everybody's here for beam shots anyway. Just let me wrap this up very briefly by pointing out a couple things. You get a very nice lanyard with this kit, really impressive, and a nice tack holster. Now, if you're in law enforcement, and based on my two preliminary evaluations, these are not definitive. It usually takes me a couple preliminaries and a couple field tests to make any sort of conclusion for my own purposes. But just based on those preliminaries, there may be good reason to consider this for use as maybe a number 2 or 3 light in your kit. This will fit your Sam Brown. I did attach it to a tack vest. It seems to work okay. You got the rapid open and mag lock back. So if you'd like to see a field test that is dedicated to law enforcement applications, I've done several of those, and in fact I think they've all been NITECORE products. Yeah, let me know. I'll see if I can make that happen. But I can hear it, the chanting from the crowds. We want beam shots. We want beam shots. Okay, I get it. Time to shut up. Thankfully, it's already dark enough. I can get right out in the preserve, and I'm going to let the 35 speak for itself. At the bridge where I normally do output level test in ultra low, low, look out over the creek, mid or medium, and move over here so we can max out line of sight, which should be a good 40 yards this time of year. High, half press and hold turbo spot, full press and hold, and there is the shield. This is a more wide open, brighter area in low, medium, through that tree gap to the opposite tree line, 50 to 55 yards, high, first practical test of the evening, the close proximity search in ultra low. We have low clouds out tonight. You know what that means from past videos. It's a bright night. We have all this surrounding light pollution. So ultra low might be useful if it was a very, very dark environment. But right now it's just not getting it, so I'm going to go up one into low, and within 10 to 15 yards, yeah, this would allow me to do both a good ground and playground equipment search. Let's take that out a little bit further over towards the swing set. Not bad at all. It rained out here most of the day, so I can't do the usual path following example. It's way too muddy, and as they said in the Mummy movie, death shall come on swift wings to he who tracks in too much mud into the apartment. So this is low, especially in this brighter, wide open environment. I would not use this. Now, that's medium. Definitely getting the job done. I can get all the downrange that I need from the path. Very good side to side. Not so much for making identifications, but certainly picking up eye shine and other general information that I would need. All right, I'm hoping this will be a little bit drier. The rain actually ran off down to the creek. Very high slip risk, but I'm in low and I want to see how well this works. Yeah, I'm going to have to clean my boots off or suffer the curse of Emotep. I think it's a little drier this way. Then I've got this wire for a little extra traction. Then look back to the other edge of this creek, and there's the bridge where I do the output level test. One more time around. Yeah, that's a real long look in low output. Extended medium test. I'm standing further back than I normally do. A good 38 plus yards line of sight. You've seen this before, entrance to the outer loop trail. Of course, now I'm much closer to the sign. I'm guessing under 20. Then move on around to where the concrete path curves off to the right, and then just keep going. Okay, I get to that gap in the trees right there. That's where this is really falling off on such a bright night. I actually just paced that off. It helped clean off my boots, and it's a little bit under 100 yards. Actually, I would say since I'm standing further back relative to the path, it's probably right at 100 to the midpoint there. High test. I'm illuminating the first tree line pretty well. I can barely identify that there's a second tree line back there. Of course, in this output level, you're getting more side to side than you're getting throw when you go up from medium. I guess that's one way to look at it, although it's still pretty decent throw as we get out to over 100 yards there. That's certainly better than medium, but very generous side to side. So that's where a lot of that extra illumination is going. Don't know if you saw the raindrops. I thought I could get through the night without going through rain. I guess we'll just have to see how it goes. There is turbo spot over 175 yards to that far tree. Yes, it is getting hot. And there is the step down. I'll let it run here briefly in the steady state. Then why don't we do a comparison versus the 33? Same test with the 33. What I'm really seeing here is a bit less side to side for one thing. And there is the step down. I let the light cool down, and there is the shield. A good 55, 60 yards line of sight. And there is the step down. Again, let's compare with the 33. There's the shield on the 33. And the step down. One more time through the output levels. This is ultra low. Low. Medium. High. All the way back through there, a good 60 yards line of sight. Then half press and hold. Back off. Let me move around this direction. And then full press and hold for the shield. So I'm back up in the parking lot now, looking underneath my truck in low. I'll take it away, bring it back, look around, lots of light pollution. Then about 5 parking lot spaces from my truck. Then we look out in this area, lots of dark pockets there, half press and hold to light that up. Then let's go back into that area. All right, let's wrap this up for tonight. Coming up on a dark pocket here. Ultra low, low, medium. So for my purposes, I could imagine a number of potential use cases for this light. I've been carrying it for about a week and a half. I'm going to continue carrying it, continue testing it, take it out to the LBJ grasslands, see what it can really do out there. For your purposes, which matter the most, I would imagine everyone would like to see additional testing, including a more comprehensive comparison with the 33. I'm definitely going to try and make that happen. If there are other tests or comparisons you would like to see, leave a comment. I'll see what I can do. Then let's finish off one up into, there we go. Hopefully I got all the mud cleaned off my boots. If this is the last field test you ever see me record, you'll probably know why. On that happy note, going to shut it down for tonight. And as always, until the next review, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for watching the video.